So, Pastor Al.
Yes, sir.
The question of the hour is, in this day and age, what defines a woman as a concubine?
What defines a woman as a concubine? Boy, that's a good question. Ah, man, because, people are not ready to handle questions like that in the time that we're living in right now. And of course, people wonder what defines a woman as a concubine. Well, there are many things. First of all, in order to be able to understand concubinage, you have to understand what biblical marriage is. And I didn't say traditional marriage, biblical marriage. Because traditional marriage is something totally different than biblical marriage. Traditional marriage is things that Christians do, the things that people out here do in this world. Biblical marriage is something totally different, which we preach and teach and actually live in the ministry in itself. All right? But what defines it? What defines it? All right. First of all, a concubine is a woman without any inherited rights. All right? That's the hallmark answer. Everybody understands it. Everybody comprehends that. Everybody pretty much gets it, right? That's what they will say. All right? But check this out also. Today, in this society that we live in, and this is hard hitting. This really, truly is hard hitting. But today in this secular society we live in, a lot of women have been married as concubines simply because there was no bride price given to them at the time of marriage, thereby increasing their status as a woman. Or let's say their status to be a wife. That's the reason why I don't mean to be antagonistic. I don't mean to be sitting up here being vindictive or trying to hurt people's feelings or something. I understand how the truth works. I understand how it goes. But the fact of the matter is that when a man got a wife, he ended up paying a bride price for this wife right here. And when you have a concubine does not incur a bride price, because more likely a concubine is either someone who was a servant of the wife, or he was someone that he decided to designate simply because she may have been in indentured servitude, and the master didn't want to designate her as a wife at that time. Now, a concubine can receive the designation of a wife. And of course, that time is all dependent upon the master in itself, because this is still a master-servant relationship, kind of like what we are today with the Most High. So that right there in itself would actually constitute pretty much what a concubine in this day and age and hour is. Now watch this. Now you think about this for a second. We live in a day and age where we are, many people are playing Israelites, but then they're still going out and making marriage contracts with the state. And when they make marriage contracts with the state, what they're doing is participating in legal prostitution, because basically the state is selling you this woman for a price. That price could be $30 for a marriage license, $100 for a marriage license. Most people resent this type of talk because they don't understand or comprehend what the law says. They know what the law of this land says, but they don't know what the Torah says. And everybody gets very offended. But the truth is, these laws are actually there to protect the woman and not so much the man. The man is obligated, duty obligated and duty sworn by the law in itself to uphold the Torah. Excuse me. Excuse me. And that's what a man is supposed to be doing, should be doing, is taking care of his duty and obligation stuff. Because a woman is designed to be taken care of from cradle to grave. I.e., I'll give you an example, cradle to grave, okay? So, today we have a lot of people in ministry, all right? And a lot of them seek marriage and stuff. And what we try to make sure we do is we try to get into these marriages, to adjudicate these marriages, to ensure that we're not behaving like the Gentiles in this world with all this serial polygamy, with marriage and divorce, marriage and divorce, marriage and divorce, marriage and divorce. And that's the reason why the term polygamy comes into mind, because sometimes people are actually participating in polygamy because they're doing all this marriage and divorce, marriage and divorce, and marriage and divorce. Which that mess has got to stop. It definitely has got to stop, because that's not the way that Yah intended for Hebrew marriages to be. But because people are so cardinal today, and they like doing things their own little way and stuff, you have to actually have elders and people to adjudicate matters. That's why in the ministry here, we don't turn around and we don't approve of people going and getting married, especially women getting married without some type of headship. Either the pastor in that area, the elder in that area, or something like, because a lot of these women just don't have what you call biological and natural fathers. We do this for their protection. And if the brothers decide to go past that, you often hear me say, hey, y'all went out there and made that choice and decision, I ain't got nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it at all. But also, we have the right to put you out of the assembly because you didn't want to go and do things the way that we saw fit for them to do, because after all, at the end of the day, we're trying to protect families. We're trying to protect families and women from a bunch of unjust injustice, because it's obvious that you see it all the time, just like in this world with with monolygamy. You see it all over the place, and you're going to see it all the time in this world too, amongst people who call themselves Israelites, because people ain't got no honor and they got no word, so they end up putting women away, going laying with them, don't give them a bill of divorce, thereby causing not only the woman but themselves to commit adultery. So I know I went off a little bit, but I used this as an opportunity to answer a question too as well concerning. But a concubine is someone that does not have inherited rights, period, point blank. They just simply don't. And a lot of times in this society, because we're licensing, making license with the state, we don't actually made the women and then sold them cheap, because we never provided a bride price for them and stuff. So therefore, marriage is going forth as we come into the knowledge of the truth. To much is given, much is required. Now we are required to walk in that vein and to walk in that light. You got anything else?
No, sir. That's it.
All right. Shalom.
Yes, sir.